I'm currently reading a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And me making this video is proof that this book has been working wonders. Although everything does come back to our own personal beliefs and thoughts, I do believe that sometimes we need external factors to help motivate us to do the things that we know we can do, but we sometimes often don't because we are hit with resistance of ourselves and resistance of things that we don't even recognize that are there, such as blockages or beliefs that were put into our minds not by us per se, but at some point in our lives, which is causing us to not go after and pursue the things that we want to do in our lives today. And I can specifically apply this to being an entrepreneur. Me personally, I've been on this journey for a couple of years now, starting at a very young age. I do remember, being in school, elementary school, selling candies, and I find that that's how most entrepreneurs start out, but then fast forward a couple years later to college, where I started a very legitimate business with real numbers, real clients, and real products. And we grew that business to about $300,000 in revenue within the first 2 years, which to me, as an 18-year-old, that was a lot of money. I didn't really pay attention at the time as to how I got to where we got in terms of motivation and how we were able to obtain so many clients. I was just kind of doing, and it felt really good. It felt really easy until suddenly something happened where I had a disconnection between myself and the business partner that I had at the time. And to me, this was completely devastating because I had helped build this business from the ground up, and all of a sudden it was taken away from me in the most I don't even want to relive it, but it was just a very traumatic situation to experience, and being alone in a sense of not having anyone to tell or having anyone who would understand exactly what it felt like to grow something that you're so passionate about and then have all of it taken away. So I went a few years of not doing anything entrepreneurial, and like most artists, this is almost kind of like going through writer's block. For example, for me, my art and my passion is business and entrepreneurship, and taking ideas and turning them into concrete businesses or concrete things that people can see, and that is a form of art to me. So not being able to do that for a few years because I had experienced a traumatic event felt very debilitating. And the point of this video is for me to help someone overcome those blockages, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did. It did take a lot of time because I didn't have the resources or the tools that I have available to us today, such as YouTube, such as healers all over the place, and just knowledge that wasn't available to me at this time a couple years ago when I was going through all of this. So the first thing I would say is I started reading a lot of books on the subconscious mind. And the reason why I want to go deep into the subconscious is because this is where a lot of our beliefs come from. This is where a lot of our blockages come from. This is where a lot of the determination of being an entrepreneur comes from. I believe the reason why a lot of people are really successful in this space is because, one, they've either worked on this part of themselves, or two, they have not experienced any sort of traumatic event, or have not experienced something that is going to basically question their integrity. And because of that, they're able to move forward freely, which I applaud them, because this is what we essentially want. We want to be able to remove any of the cloudiness so that we can proceed in business, proceed in art, whatever our passion is, without any hesitation or resistance. So first thing I mentioned is reading books on the subconscious mind. You don't have to be a religious person or a spiritual person to understand the information in these books, because these books are mainly science. It's pure science if you really look into it. However, if you are more into the spiritual aspect of the subconscious mind, I do recommend checking out a few books, which I'll leave linked down below, because this is how I was able to begin my journey into removing these blockages. The next thing I would do is to begin seeking out someone who can help you further identify and remove a lot of these blockages. So, what I mean by this is seeking out professional help or therapy or whatever modality you choose to use. I personally went with hypnotherapy because I had done therapy for several years and I didn't feel as though it was helping me. So, I decided to seek out a hypnotherapist, and at first I was like, this isn't working. But over time, I begin to realize that the subconscious reprogramming that I did to help me change a lot of my beliefs actually began to manifest in my life. And so I no longer felt like I wasn't capable of doing something. I no longer felt like I didn't have the credibility because I knew I did. I no longer felt like I had imposter syndrome for going after the things that I knew I was able to do. And those are just some examples of the beliefs that we worked through. To go even deeper, I also did a few regression therapies and found that the lingering beliefs that were holding me back weren't even mine to have to begin with. Just know that once you remove those blockages, once you get over that hurdle, however you do that, just know that that's going to help alleviate a lot of the resistance that we have towards starting businesses. And you'll begin to see that you try more things, you become more creative, you allow more inspiration to flow into you so that you can try different business ventures, or so that you can try different ideas that you've been holding on to for several years. Because at the end of the day, the only thing stopping you between you and reaching your goals is your mind. So why not work on that aspect and then watch as things begin to come into your life and you begin to flourish in the ways that we dreamed of. Just know that once we begin working on alleviating a lot of these resistances and blockages, it'll help us move forward in business and entrepreneurship, or in our art form, our form of creativity, how we want to move forward. So I believe that this can work in almost anything that you want to do, is really just putting your mind to it and understanding that you are more than capable of doing it. And typically when we set out to do something and we feel any form of resistance, that is the thing that we should be doing. Like me making this video right now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into more of the mental aspect, the spiritual aspect of being an entrepreneur, because that's not what sells. But at the end of the day, that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to empower other individuals to go after the things that they want to do, but helping them recognize that the reason why it's not happening is probably because we have to work on our subconscious mind first. And then from there, once we begin to clear out the fogginess, we'll be able to clearly see how it is that we want to move forward. And hopefully at that point, you'll be able to come back to this channel, you'll be able to come back to YouTube and really dial into whatever resonates with you in terms of going after that dream of yours. And like I said, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, you can be an artist, you can be a teacher, you can be whatever you want to be, an athlete, it doesn't matter. But what matters is breaking through that barrier, and that is the point of this video. I will be leaving a few links to some books down below to get started on your journey, but I hope this video helped someone, and if so, please leave a comment down below on how you have been working through this barrier that most of us do come across. Thank you.